Hot Toys quality control. Sometimes it sucks. Usually it doesn't, but occasionally it does. And today I'm going to relive my most traumatic Hot Toys collecting moments and hopefully heal my wounds for your entertainment. But before we get started, make sure to like the video down below, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you're notified when content goes live here. With that said, let's discuss some of my worst Hot Toys experiences with figures that were dead on arrival, maybe broken on arrival, one of those two, I don't know. Let's roll the intro. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another video today. And today I'm going to be counting down the worst 12 Hot Toys QC experiences that I've had in my 7 to 8 years of collecting these figures. I am going to be including some Inart figures and some third-party figures as well, just to round out the list, make it a little bit more engaging and surprising and exciting for you. And I think it's just going to make it all the better that I'm able to relive the trauma wholeheartedly across the board and heal live on camera for your entertainment. Guys, with that said, let's waste no more time and jump straight into number 12. Starting out with number 12, I'm going to start with a mild QC issue and ramp things up as we go. We're going with the Cad Bane Book of Boba Fett Deluxe version with the Toto. You can see here has a scratch on the side of the faceplate. Dude looks like he got struck by lightning. Boba Fett is shooting lightning out of his hands just like Thor or Papa Palpatine these days. I don't know. Something happened to Cad Bane. He got struck by lightning. It didn't look great. I contacted Sideshow. Unfortunately, they did not have replacements. They told me they exhausted their supply and I was SOL. Either return the figure, which I really loved it, didn't want to do that, or I could go ahead and find a faceplate on eBay or Toy Anxiety, which I did, and I replaced it. And that was my favorite faceplate. Magnet also came unglued. These faceplates attach magnetically to the head sculpt. Magnets come unglued all the time on Hot Toys figures. Unfortunately, they don't always use the most high quality or best glue. And because of that, you have issues where the magnet comes unglued and you got problems. So Cad Bane got struck by lightning, scratched up on the faceplate. Don't love that. It showed up very significantly under lighting. And of course, we have the magnet coming unglued. Mild issues, still not thrilled about it. Couldn't get a replacement. We're just getting started. At number 11, we have Hot Toys The Batman, and we have a similar type of issue here. You may think I'm crazy, but I promise you, I'm not. What's happening here is a scratch on the faceplate, again, of the Batman instead of Cad Bane this time, but still right on the lower jaw area, you can see Batman has a scratch. It almost looks like stubble, but I promise you it's not. I compared them to the other faceplates, and the paint application definitely differed. You had a significant scratch there that showed up to me very much more so in person than it does on camera, and it was a huge problem. When I put him under light, I could see that scratch there on the faceplate, and I was able to secure a replacement for this one. Comic Concepts secured me a replacement, so shout out to them. But thankfully, this is one that I was able to secure another faceplate for. You have the angry faceplate and another sort of half angry faceplate. This stoic one, I think, looked the best for this Batman figure. So for me, this is the one that I wanted to use, and that's always the way it goes. When you have a QC issue with a Hot Toys figure, it's always the thing that you actually want to use. It's not the hand or the faceplate or whatever that you're just going to leave in the box. It's the one that you really want to display. That's always how it seems to go. And at number 10, we have the Inart Arthur Fleck from the Joker 4-pack, which you remember cost about $1,600 to $1,700 if you bought it from 1/6 kit shipped. This is an amazing set, and I said this in my review actually, but the figure for Arthur Fleck looks incredible, but it does have some sort of glue or hair product near the hairline that was a bit distracting when I was setting him up and posing him and even unboxing him. So I reached out to Inart and they are working on a replacement head sculpt for me, but this is a huge problem. On a figure that you pay this much for, a premium price for, it's unfortunate to have hair product running down the hairline. You could call it sweat, whatever the case may be, but at the same time, I'm not thrilled having to display the head sculpt with an issue like this. You can see when I zoom in a bit, a little bit of hair product there on the skin of the forehead. It's a little bit problematic. Us figure collectors are pretty anal about this type of stuff. And you can see the likeness is incredible, but you can see the hair, when you shine the light on it, you can see the hair product sort of dripping into the skin of the head sculpt. And it's not ideal. You like the hair to look natural and naturally blended into the rest of the head sculpt. And when this type of issue happens, it's not exactly fun. At number 9, we have our first third-party figure on this list. It's the Attack on Titan Levi Ackerman figure from Nyron Studios. And if you're a big fan of the manga or the anime, I think this figure was probably on your anticipated list. It certainly was high up there on mine. And I didn't really know much about Nyron Studios. I was willing to take the risk because I thought the figure looked incredible for the prototype. But this is the definition of a shelf queen. This thing is beyond fragile. Fragile doesn't begin to describe the nature of this figure. It looks great, but it's going to fall apart inevitably over time, and it's going to fall apart probably on you straight out of the box if you're not careful. which I guess apparently I wasn't because things were falling off and breaking left and right. The ODM gear on the back of the figure was snapped off. You can see that piece right there that snapped off. Beyond that, you have the strap that came off on the ODM gear, of course, that connects it. And of course, there's another shot, a close up. The head sculpt had a piece break off the back. It's glued on. Apparently there's pieces to the head sculpt that are glued together. That piece broke off and fell off pretty quickly as well. And you can see a closer up shot as well with my hairy white leg in there as well. You're welcome for that one. And you can see the magnet also came out of the back of the figure, which again, like I talked about with Hot Toys, very common issue for these figure manufacturers, happens with Inart too. Not sure what glue these companies are using and why it can't be rectified, but these magnets are coming out left and right, and it's a huge problem. Okay guys, at number 8, we have a pretty goated figure, honestly. This is one of the best Hot Toys that I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm actually just putting a review out there, so check that out if you really want to see that. Feral Predator from Prey, the 20th Century Fox film, the Hulu surprise hit that ended up being one of the best films of the year and one of the best, I think, installments in the entire Predator franchise. I think most people would agree with that. It's absolutely remarkable. What's not remarkable is the hands being a different color than the rest of the body. And what's even more interesting about this is that not all of the hands have this problem. Most of the hands are pretty fantastic, but not this one, not the gripping hands, which are very important because if you want Predator holding a weapon in his right hand, like his spear, then you're gonna have a hand that's the wrong fucking color, which is a huge problem. So for me, I'm trying to work on getting replacements. I think this is a one-off issue, a QC problem, if you will, a isolated issue. But you can see here, the 2 gripping hands on the right side, each of them having alternate paint applications than the rest of the body. I tried different lighting. It's not the lighting. I promise you, under any lighting circumstance, it looks off and it's super weird. I don't know what happened. I don't know if in the factory they said, you know what, fuck it, let's paint these 2 different. I'm feeling an artistic liberty here and I'm just gonna take it and explore it. I don't know if that happened at the factory or some other fuckery happened, but I can tell you this was not ideal. And at number 7, we have the Hot Toys 21 Inches of Venom from SpiderMan 2, the PS5 video game. Now, this figure, looking at it just right off the bat, you might not realize what the issue is here. But the issue is that Venom is homeless and missing a tooth, right? So this is a big problem. You can see on this tooth head sculpt, this issue right here, he's missing a fang. His fang is gone, right? So the rest of his teeth are present, like brushed, looking good, like Venom is hygienic, he takes care of his shit, but not this fucking tooth apparently, because this thing's just gone, right? It's gone. It was broken, and I did the review without it, and I don't always mention these QC issues. It depends if it's relevant to the conversation I'm having. If it's minor and I know it can be resolved, I don't always reference it. It just depends on what I think is important to the flow of the video and whether I think the issue could potentially be widespread or one-off. So in this case, it's a tooth that's missing. I got a replacement from Comic Concepts. Shout out to them again. Josh getting me a quick and speedy replacement. You can see here, here's a better shot of the tooth missing. I love this figure. It pleasantly surprised me. It's actually one of the best Spider-Man verse figures of all time. It's massive, but the presence it has is remarkable. It smells like rubber. It's crazy, but it looks incredible. When I took it out for the Strangers video, people absolutely loved this thing. People were stopping me to do interviews. So it was that exciting to people and that appealing. This is an incredible figure, but he needs all of his teeth. He needs all of his teeth to be incredible. At number 6, we have the Inart Harry Potter figure from the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone, depending upon who you ask or what your geographic location is. Guys, this Harry Potter figure had a huge problem. The head sculpt had a big scratch on the cheek upon arrival. I'm not sure if it was bouncing around in that acrylic display case before the Inart team decided to change their overall design and make it a little bit more stable, which now it's very stable. Haven't had an issue like that since. So shout out to Inart for fixing the problem, remedying the issue. But he had a big scratch on his cheek. I don't know if there's some sort of skin issue going on with Harry, but he had a scratch there and it was a huge problem. I noted this in the review. I decided to proceed with the review anyway. I did get a replacement from Inart. Natalie G ended up buying this figure because she hounded me for months. Shout out to Natalie G. I'm happy that you're happy with this figure. It's incredible. There's no doubt about it. But the head sculpt, again, is the selling point. And when you have a cheek that's this scratched up, it's not ideal because it's taking away from the quality of the art here, which is next level work. I mean, this Harry Potter is a work of art, truly. It is an amazing figure. And, you know, if you're a Harry Potter fan, I don't know how you don't have this thing in your collection, but when you do have it in your collection, I hope you don't have a Harry Potter with a skin rash because this thing is unfortunate at best. And I was not happy about this, but Inart did get a replacement relatively quickly and I'm thrilled about that. Shout out to the Inart team for doing that because they do make dreams come true. And I'm glad that they made this one come true. So this trauma, I guess, has technically been resolved, but as have several of these. I mean, but still, we're exploring them together. So thank you for joining me for this roller coaster ride. And at number 5, we have the Hot Toys ShangChi from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, this is an incredible head sculpt, a true masterpiece from Hot Toys, a true work of art of Simu Liu, of a head sculpt that is really just next level good. This thing is incredible. Say what you will about the pecs. People don't love the Shang-Chi cheese, but at the end of the day, the figure is incredible, and if you pose in the right way, it's gonna look awesome. What's not incredible is when he has a scratch on his cheek that is not intended to be there. Simu Liu does not have that on his cheek. The head sculpt came this way. Unfortunately, I was not able to secure a replacement, but I did end up buying a replacement head sculpt because that was what was necessary to get the job done for this figure, and I absolutely love it. This is one of my favorite figures. He and Wenwu were absolutely incredible, but I put this above Harry Potter because Shang-Chi is more important of a character than Harry Potter to me. I love Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. It's one of my favorite movies, let alone Marvel movies. I love that movie so much. It's incredible, and I was just so thrilled with how good it was. But again, not thrilled with these head sculpts being damaged. Like, it's a work of art that is, distorted by a QC issue that is just unfortunate. And at number 4, we have the Hot Toys Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 StarLord. So this was a figure that I was incredibly excited for because this figure, I think, is probably the best StarLord that's been done thus far. The StarLord from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, best head sculpt, but is it the best outfit? No. The team suit, I don't think, holds a candle to the Volume 2 StarLord with the long coat, which is really just awesome. I bought this figure used off eBay because it was brand new. It had never been opened, never been taken out of the box. Problem was, you should never do that. And I learned buying used figures that have been sitting in a box for years, not exactly a wise business proposition because there could very well be damage. There could not be also, but I'm a little bit hesitant these days to buy used figures at all, but certainly buying a used figure that has been sitting in a box, maybe in a humidity controlled climate that could be deteriorating over time, which is exactly precisely what happened here. StarLord had staining on the neck, rips in the pleather, and just a lot of issues that were very traumatic. And these experiences were not exactly ideal. So I think, guys, this is one I think you have to be super careful with. Anytime you're buying a used figure, I really want you to use a little bit of caution and judgment and make sure there's some quality photos out there of what you're actually purchasing besides just the box. Because there could be a lot of issues. The seller did end up refunding me, but he had a neck staining on with the pink from the dye on the pleather jacket, and of course a lot of issues with the pleather itself, with pieces just falling off and breaking and disintegrating in my hands. So this was a huge problem. So I love that head sculpt and I love that figure, but I just don't think I'm going to own it unless they remake it because of all this fuckery right here. So at number 3, we have the Hot Toys Deadpool from Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, this was a figure that I was very much looking forward to. I had Deadpool version 2 from Deadpool 2 a while back, and I really enjoyed that figure, but I knew Deadpool 3 was coming from Marvel, and I really wanted to see what they were going to do with the character and what the figure was going to look like. Well, figure turned out great. Problem was, he had a huge issue with the ankle pegs snapping off. Well, I got my Deadpool from Sideshow, and of course, right when I got it right out of the box, the ankle fucking falls off. When that happens, I decided to say, oh, all right, I got to get a replacement from Sideshow because this thing is not pegging back in. I tried it, it wouldn't stay. The thing was just falling off. It's broken. Sideshow did luckily get me a replacement copy of this figure, so I was very happy. Special edition with the golden guns, very thrilled about that. And it's a great figure in my display. So the replacement ended up being a happy ending for me, but the broken ankle peg was a widespread issue on this figure. And hopefully they have fixed it with subsequent Deadpool battle damage version, which we'll see when it gets to the States here. But this was a huge problem. I mean, I really love Deadpool as a character and I really wanted a Deadpool in my collection. Of course, I'm getting the Wolverine too, right? Who's not? But this ankle peg issue was a problem. I was worried about this coming in because I had seen other collectors experience similar issues, but most people were fine, right? But I was not fine, unfortunately. But I ended up being fine because Sideshow ended up replacing it. So again, happy ending. But yeah, this ankle peg broke off and Deadpool could not stand properly. And at number 2, we have the Hot Toys Black Suit Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2, the PlayStation 5 video game. And this was also some fuckery. I tried to get a replacement for this one, but Sideshow apparently again had exhausted their stock. I did not get a replacement for this one, so I had to ship it back for a full refund. I think either that or they were offering me to take a $30, I think, store credit, something like along those lines. And I was not thrilled with that for, you know, the reason that the suit is literally ripped. So one of the armpits is completely ripped straight out of the box, and the amount of QC issues that I sometimes experience is quite remarkable. And you can see here the rips in a little bit more detail. The stitching on the fabric is coming undone, and you can see there's a big hole right there, and that thing could only get worse with posing over time, and it was a huge problem. So you can see the figure in my hand here. Looks great, really nice looking figure actually, very, very quality figure here, but the stitching and the overall rippage there was very traumatic for me. And I wanted to display this guy, but I knew I could not in good faith put in my display knowing that he was damaged like that. That really bothers me personally. Small little issues here and there, if it's not really noticeable, fine, right? But a rip in the suit, that is the rip in the integrity of the figure, and it bothers me, and I can't display him like that. So I had to send this one back for a full refund. But nonetheless, I did end up getting the figure again and moving it on, but it's a great figure, but it just ended up fitting in my collection personally for a long period of time. Still, a ripped suit, I wasn't thrilled. And at number one, I'm not sure if you saw this coming or not, but if not, I'm very pleased with myself. This is the Inart Pennywise, the deluxe version with 2 separate head sculpts. Now, I purchased this obviously day one, and of course I had an early copy of the figure from Inart Collectibles, and I was very excited to get this guy in and review it. I am like the Pennywise guy, right? At least in 1/6 scale collecting. I love the character probably more than anyone else. At least I'm more outspoken about it than other people, and this guy was high up on my anticipated list, maybe number 1, if not number 1 or 2. Well, the head sculpt, the one that I really, really wanted to use, the regular one, the smiling one, was cracked. Right in the back of the head sculpt, you can see a crack right in the seam there, and it was not ideal. You can also see staining on the neck from the hair dye, which also was very problematic. So I ended up working with 1/6 Kid and Inart to get a replacement relatively quickly and speedily. But this was very traumatic for me. I was like, this Inart figure is the Pennywise. I was super excited about it. And of course, you got a crack and an issue in the back of the head sculpt there. Not ideal, right? Not ideal at all. So looking at that, you can see a wider shot here that just shows the back of the head sculpt. This was a difficult time for me. And a bonus, a little statue love here. We got the Prime 1 Night King from Game of Thrones. So 2 issues here. We had the Night King head sculpt, which had earwax. It's not really earwax, but there was orange paint for some reason in the ear. Shout out to Comic Concepts again for getting me a replacement. It took a while, but he did end up getting me the replacement. It's Prime 1. It's not Comic Concepts. It just takes a little bit of time. Earwax in the head sculpt on the nose, tons of paint scratching. For most people, we're not going to notice because it looks like he has ice on his nose, but it is an abnormality and is not meant to be there. I looked at other reviews. I looked at product photos. It is not meant to be there. I got a replacement. It looks absolutely fantastic. And of course, the display base had some scratching on it as well. The paint applications were damaged. Let's just say that. And I got a replacement base from Comic Concepts as well. And of course, the head sculpt. So lots of small little issues here with a statue that costs about pretty close to what, $2,000, right? So it was very expensive, and I love the piece, but expensive figures and statues that come with expensive damages is expensive trauma. And that's that, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you found it entertaining and helpful in some way. I will say that most Hot Toys, Inart, Prime 1, third-party figures, 90 to 95% of the time, you're never going to have a problem. But every once in a while, you will have that occasional QC issue, and that's why it's important to buy from reputable sellers and dealers and whoever you may want to deal with that really do have your back when things may go awry. And that is going to give you so much more security and comfort in the collecting process should you have an issue like this. I do want to give a shout out. My girlfriend actually gave me this topic, so shout out to the girlfriend. Very good topic idea. So let me know in the comments below if you did enjoy it. Let me know if there's any other video topics, or let me know about what QC issues that you've experienced in your collecting journey that you would like to discuss, and just how your collecting journey is going so far. I'd really be interested in hearing that, as I always am. Guys, make sure to like this video if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to click the notification bell. That way you're notified anytime something goes live here, whether it be a review, a live stream, a helpful guide, or a fun countdown video like this. We have all of that here for 6 scale collecting and statue collecting, which it's a pretty fun place to be. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you in the next video. Have a good evening, day, whenever you're watching this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.